Hey guys, it's Graham from Okanagan Peak Performance, and welcome to my video tutorial on how to do a Turkish Get Down. This is a stepping stone to doing the Turkish Get Up, which is a great exercise, but it gets performed poorly more often than it gets done properly. So the way that we're going to teach it from the top down, and this starts with 9 steps. 9 is a lot, but it's a complicated exercise. But we're going to go through each one of these, and as you can tell, they all start with the letter S. So by the time you're done this, you're going to not fall into this category over here that when you say you can do a Turkish get up, it's going to look like an actual Turkish get up. I guess the first step really comes down to how you hold the kettlebell. And we can talk about this in more detail, but basically it's always going to go sort of diagonally through your hand like this so that your wrist stays straight. At no point should it be sort of cocked back. But anyway, let's get started with our first S. Our first two S's, which is slap and step. So it's a complicated exercise, and oftentimes people will step back with the wrong leg. So once you get this kettlebell up, this hand is occupied, so you slap your leg with your free hand, and whichever one you can slap on the side, that's the one that tells you which way to go. Eventually you won't always have to do this. You'll obviously remember which leg to step back with, but at first it's vitally important that we step back with the proper leg. From there, we need to make sure that we step back, and I want 90-90. So what I mean by 90-90 is that when you get down at the bottom, this front leg, if we're looking at it from the side, is creating a 90-degree angle, and so is this back leg. And the telltale of that is going to be a nice vertical shin on this front one if you're looking for a visual cue. After that, we need to sweep and shift. So the sweep refers to this sort of what I call windshield wiper action that happens at first like this. This is very important to allow our hips to be able to move so that we don't have to move through our spine. So once we sweep, we're able to do a hip check, which is this motion here where I push my hips straight to the side. That's really that leads into the next point where we're emphasizing sort of going east and west with this one. So if we push our hips to the side, that allows us to move through our hips, not our spine. You can see how my zipper is staying sort of vertical. I'm not bending through my spine. But the real east to west part comes with the hand placement. Oftentimes people reach too far back, and I want them to kind of go to the side. So with the hand, it needs to be in line with the knee. That's how we can tell if we've gone east-west here versus reaching back further towards that wall behind me. I need to reach out far, but not too far. And basically my telltale is that at the end, that kettlebell should be right underneath my hand here. So if you watch my hand here, you draw a straight line up to the kettlebell. It's quick, but you can see it. That's vital, obviously, to keep the force coming down in a straight line so you can handle the loads that we want to try to work you up towards. From there, we need to slide and sit. So my first action here, once I get to that spot, is I'm sliding my leg through. And what I want you to do is always kind of to pause at this point. Once that leg is through like this with what it's kind of referred to as a speed bump, we need to make sure that you slow down, because from here it's often pretty easy just to kind of collapse all the way down. But we want to be controlled on the way down. So we're stopping at each spot. This one specifically where you're going to try to point your belt buckle to the sky and just hold that for a second. And then from there I need to just sit down gently, no thumps. Swivel and stop. This one refers to the swivel is the hands. As you can see, this point here, I just swivel my hands right towards my toes, not pointing directly at my toes, but I'm pointing there, and then I point them this way. This just allows my arm to get in a proper position for me to be able to kind of stop on my forearm for a split second there each time. So again, the video kind of cuts out, but you need to be able to stop at this point when I'm on my forearm. That position there leads into what we just call sleep, where again you're just kind of lowering yourself. The last couple steps are really just about control, coming all the way back down and not letting gravity do all the work, but you're lowering yourself. So the telltale is really at the very end, can you hold that kettlebell up in that position? Because sometimes if you come back too quickly, it's going to go down, it's going to thump and hit the ground. So by the time we get down, we can control the bell. We should be ready to go back up again once we learn the Turkish get up. So once you, in order for that, your leg should be in this V position here, and your arm should be out at a 45-degree angle. But you're not going to learn how to do the Turkish get up until you master how to do the Turkish get down. So hopefully you found this informative. Go back through it. You can pause each one. That's really how you learn the Turkish get down. It's a very complicated exercise. 9 S's, like 9 Q's. That's a lot to remember. So if you can break it down in chunks and try to learn it from then. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll talk to you soon.